3. 徐树铮武力收复外蒙与法统宣誓仪式。3. 徐树铮的军事收复外蒙古及合法性宣言仪式。In 1919, taking advantage of the Russian Civil War and the rift between Outer Mongolian nobles and lamas, Xu Shuzheng led the Northwestern Frontier Army to recover Outer Mongolia by force, abolish secret agreements between Russia and Mongolia, revoke Outer Mongolian autonomy, and reintegrate it into Chinese territory, accomplishing a major feat of frontier recovery in modern China. The entire region was once again placed under the administrative jurisdiction of the Republic of China. To strengthen central legitimacy and establish the authority of the Republican head of state, Xu Shuzheng held a grand ceremony of Outer Mongolia's surrender in Kowloon. An official portrait of President Su Xichang was displayed on site, and Outer Mongolia nobles of all banners and religious leaders headed by the Jepsen Damba Hutuktu were ordered to line up and bow 3 times to the portrait. This modern Republican ceremony of allegiance completely severed Outer Mongolia's old legal ties with Tsarist Russia and the deposed Qing court, publicly proclaiming the whole of Outer Mongolia's submission to the Republican central government in Beijing. The ceremony was fully documented, archived and telegraphed nationwide, becoming a landmark event in proclaiming frontier sovereignty during the Beiyang period. Contemporary public opinion praised the act as recovering 10,000 li of northern deserts and upholding national order. 张明评论，徐树铮的行动是一次军事和政治的双重胜利，巩固了 legal legitimacy through ritual and briefly reshaping China's actual control over northern Mongolia. Though lost later due to civil war, it remains a glorious moment in modern frontier history. The New York Times reported on the 3rd of December 1919, Chinese troops recover Outer Mongolia, local leaders pay homage to the portrait of the Republican president, the sovereign boundaries of the Far Eastern continent are redefined, a rare victory for weak state diplomacy. 第3章，张勋复辟，满人君主重建中央权威的最后尝试。Chapter 3, Zhang Sun's Restoration, the last attempt to rebuild. Central authority under a Manchu monarch. 1. 复辟的深层动因，学界共识的权威重建逻辑。1. Underlying motives of the restoration, the scholarly consensus on authority reconstruction. Zhang Sun's restoration was not mere nostalgia for the old court. As verified by scholars including Zhang Ming and Mao Haijian, its core goal was to rebuild collapsed central authority using the traditional legal legitimacy of the Manchu Qing court. At that time, under the republican system, central decrees were ineffective and local separatism intensified. Some old Beiyang subordinates, Manchu Mongolian nobles and conservative gentry believed that a Han Chinese president could not unite traditional identity, AND. Only the restoration of a Manchu emperor could restore unified legitimacy and suppress local warlords. This thinking represented the resurgence of the traditional governance logic of unifying a multi-ethnic territory under an alien monarch, as discussed in academic circles. 2. 复辟速败与历史定性2 The rapid failure and historical definition of the restoration. In July 1917, Zhang Shun installed Puyi on the throne, only for the restoration to collapse after just 12 days. Duan Qiri led troops into Beijing, and Zhang Sung issued a telegram stepping down and took refuge in the Dutch embassy. The New York Times commented on the 4th of July 1917, "This restoration is the last glow of traditional monarchy, proving that imperial rule has completely lost the foundational support of Chinese society." Qianmu also pointed out, the rapid fall of the restoration marked the complete exit of traditional imperial legitimacy from the historical stage, eliminating any possibility of China returning to monarchy. 第4章，军阀政治潜规则，通电下野，租界毕生与免死默契。Chapter 4, Unwritten Rules of Warlord Politics. Stepping down via telegram, refuge in concessions and immunity pact. 1. 核心潜规则，通电下野即止割，租界，使馆区为庇护所。I. Core unwritten rule, ceasefire upon stepping down via telegram, concessions embassy districts as sanctuaries. A rare bottom line for political struggle emerged in early Republican warlord conflicts. Leaders of defeated factions issued public telegrams stepping down and openly abandoning military and political power, then took refuge in the Tianjin Concession, Shanghai Concession, or the Legation Quarter in Beijing. The victorious side always halted pursuit and refused political purges, forming an unwritten pact of fighting only for power, not for killing. 2. 典型案例与成因。2. 典型案例与成因。核心军阀包括李元洪、段祺瑞、冯国璋、曹锟、 和孙传芳都通过电报多次战败后下台 ，took up residence in concessions and survived unharmed. The origins of this rule lay in extraterritoriality enjoyed by foreign concessions, which barred Chinese military and police from making arrests. Mutual yuliaholu for warlords of all factions, forming an interest pact. Western diplomatic corps and public opinion restraining warlords from political executions. And the continuation of the traditional political ethics of punishments do not extend to scholar officials. 张明评论道，虽然这条不成文的规定维护了人道主义底线，避免了大规模的血腥清洗，但也阻止了军阀势力被彻底消灭，加剧了 The cycle of separatism. The New York Times reported after the 1922 Jilianhui War, power transitions among Chinese warlords often end with stepping down via telegram, with rare political purges or executions, showing unique restraint in modern civil wars. 第5章曹锟贿选，国会异化与限制彻底破产。Chapter 5 Cao Kun's electoral bribery, alienation of the National Assembly and total bankruptcy of constitutionalism. 1. 贿选全过程金钱收买与程序闹剧。I. Full process of electoral bribery, monetary corruption and procedural farce. In 1923年, Cao Kun, leader of the Zhili clique, sought to be elected president. Through politicians including Wang Chengbin, he openly bribed members of the National Assembly at prices ranging from 5,000 to 10,000 silver dollars per vote, coercing the assembly into completing the election process, and finally being sworn in as president, known in history as the bribery president. The National Assembly was reduced to a pig assembly, its members denounced as pig senators, and early Republican parliamentary politics descended into utter farce. 2. 时人与中外学者批判 and Chinese and foreign scholars. 1. Contemporaries. Sun Yat-sen issued the manifesto crusading against Cao Kun. Zhang Taiyan and Liang Chuchao jointly condemned the act in a public telegram. Academic and industrial circles nationwide held strikes and boycotts in protest. 前目曹锟的选举贿赂扫荡了共和国民大会的最后一丝尊严 ，destroying constitutionalism in both name and reality. 张明，选举贿赂是现实政治的极端化，用金钱购买程序 and proving the total failure of the Republican electoral system. 纽约时报在1923年10月6日的头版报道中谴责道，这次金钱选举是东方共和主义的耻辱，民主在中国已完全沦为笑柄。3. 历史后果 Electoral bribery completely lost domestic and international legitimacy. The Southern Constitutional Protection military government gained strong momentum. The Fengtian and Anhui cliques allied against the Zhili clique, triggering the Zhili-Fengtian War. And the authority of the Beiyang central government vanished entirely.